But Mark, let's move into our next topic. And I mentioned Eric being on the podcast next week, so I'll go ahead and pitch our Patreon. Make sure to check out patreon.com/Most Podcast to help support the channel, help support what we're doing here at MVP. We obviously cannot keep doing what we're doing here without the support of our lovely patrons. We just had Matt on the Primetime Podcast this week and talking about the Big Ten with him. So make sure to check that out, that link down below in the description. But Mark, we're going to kind of change gears here, kind of look at a little bit of NFL free agency. And there's some big news coming out because this news dropped over the weekend. I was a little, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised by it because, of course, if you're good, you're going to get contacted by teams. But we all know what happened to Ray Rice and how he was basically dropped from football because what happened to him. Kareem Hunt, apparently, according to Adam Schefter, is going to have a job sooner rather than later. There are multiple teams interested in him. And before, usually I'd ask you, which team would Kareem Hunt fit with? But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to ask you a more direct question because one of the teams linked to Kareem Hunt is the Chicago Bears, who Matt Nagy was with Kareem Hunt when he was the OC with the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to ask you, with everything that went on with Kareem Hunt, with how good he is on the football field, what are your thoughts when you hear that your football team is interested in trying to get Kareem Hunt on the Bears?
So, I mean, I think first of all it needs to be said that it's not necessarily that the Bears are interested. It's just that the coach said he's not opposed to it. They're willing to consider it in their little ending press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think a lot of people took that as, the Bears are going to sign Kareem Hunt, and they might. I think the thing that was said, the quote that a lot of people took out of it was the fact that Matt Nagy called him on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and just to check and see how he was doing, and also the quote being that, I believe in second chances, but not third chances. So that's all out there. I just don't really see it for the Chicago Bears that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bears are in a Super Bowl window. They've got a few players that are kind of important that they're going to have to start paying in a couple of years. So to have a guy who's probably going to miss 6 games, and then assuming, and this is kind of the debate on if the Bears were that team, would they get rid of Jordan Howard or would they keep him? If you get rid of Jordan Howard, then Tariq Cohen is the only running back really besides, maybe Mizell or something like that, who's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Tariq Cohen, he's not going to do it all on his own. He's a great elusive back, but sometimes you need that power. You need a guy like Jordan Howard. And if you get rid of that, you're kind of out of luck for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep him, that's just too many running backs. That doesn't make sense. We've already cut down Jordan Howard's workload so much. We're going to cut it down even more? We're going to make him the third running back on this team?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. And I do think there's value either way, whether the Chicago Bears get Kareem Hunt or not. There is some value in it. It's a conversation that needs to be had of maybe you do trade Jordan Howard, get something of value out of him because the Bears aren't utilizing him all that well. But the Bears' run blocking was pretty bad in general this year. Probably the worst part of the whole team besides the kicker was their ability to run block. So to me, I see why it could make sense. I'm not going to be angry necessarily if it happens. I won't be happy if it happens. I don't 100% know how I'm going to feel about Kareem Hunt being on my team if that's a thing that happens. But I don't really actually believe it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the big thing is obviously when you hear these reports and it says multiple teams are interested in Kareem Hunt, we obviously at this point don't know what teams they are. Obviously the Bears, and even Ryan Pace and his kind of quotes were kind of like, well, you know, this and that, and then at the end he goes, we're not there yet. So, I mean, it's like you said, the Bears are interested, but they're not at, like, here's the contract, here it is on paper, and there are a few teams that I could see that need running backs. Now, the thing that also makes this difficult that we could throw in is that Le'Veon Bell will also be a running back that is looking for a job. But, I mean, for me, I wonder with Kareem Hunt if there will be a team that goes and takes a risk on him because of what had happened. And I know, like you mentioned, with the Matt Nagy, I believe in second chances, but not third chances. Are other teams going to think that as well? Because there are teams that I think of, like maybe the Eagles, or maybe the Redskins, or maybe the Buccaneers, or even, let's say, the Jets, or, I don't know, the Bills, if they think LaShawn McCoy's time is coming to an end. There are teams that could use a running back. Is there any team in your mind that is going to take the stab and go ahead and offer Kareem Hunt a contract?
Well, I think a few teams are going to do it for sure. A team that comes to my mind is a team that they've got the ability to do it. They've got the ability to pay money, and the attitude of this team is one where they can get away with signing a guy who maybe has a little bit of questionable character or has just off the field issues. That's the Oakland Raiders, soon to be Los Angeles Raiders. They're a team that I think needs to figure out a more long-term situation at their running back position. They're a team that needs offensive weapons. They don't really have any. They're a team that, you know what, they're the LA Raiders with John Gruden. They can afford to have a guy who did have some questionable past. They can get away with it. No one's going to be mad at them about that. They are a team that makes sense to me for it. Like I said, I mean, I don't necessarily know if John Gruden is going to be completely opposed to that himself. It's hard to say because, you know, he is a new coach. We haven't really seen, well, not, you know what I mean. He's back as a coach. We don't really know what what his interactions and how important on the field, off the field is to him. But it makes sense as an organization to me.
And I mean, the thing with the Raiders is right now I feel like they are. The first thing I thought of was the joke of, well, does he smell like a Raider? Because Mike Mayock's got to, like, Kareem Hunt's got to come in the door, and Mike Mayock just has to go, okay, he smells like a Raider. I think we can sign him. But, like, the Raiders, I don't even know if Kareem would want to sign there because the Raiders are not going to be competing for anything anytime soon that I can think of. And with John Gruden, are you going to want to, with everything going on with you, trading Khalil Mack, trading Amari Cooper, the fan base already is not happy with you. I don't think adding a guy like Kareem Hunt would make that kind of situation even better. I look at it and I go, there is one team that I feel could sign him because it's a guy who was under Bill Belichick who might say, hey, Bill's done this all the time. Bill's gone ahead and taken a guy that many teams would, like how the Patriots took in Josh Gordon. And they usually take in guys that's like, on other teams, he's been a problem. He's going to come here, do his job, and then I know that Josh Gordon was the one that didn't work out, so that's maybe a bad example. But they have brought in guys that have kind of changed, like LeGarrette Blount had a resurgence when he was on the Patriots. Martellus Bennett on the Patriots didn't have many problems. Could a team like the Lions go out and get a Kareem Hunt? Because they're an interesting one that I saw an article about like a Lions site kind of writing about it, like, oh, they should go out and get Kareem Hunt. And at first I'm like, I could see it because Matt Patricia could follow the Bill Belichick line of do your job and kind of instilling the same culture with the Lions. But my question is, you just drafted Kerryon Johnson, who played pretty good this year. And I know that running back is not just like, oh, we got one, that's all we need. But if Kareem Hunt comes to town, then you're basically pushing Kerryon Johnson to the backup role. Am I wrong? Like, Kareem Hunt's not going to come into the Lions and be the backup behind Kerryon Johnson.
Probably not. I mean, unless they do feel like, nope, you've got to learn your place after what you've done, type of a thing. But I think that anybody who picks up Kareem Hunt is basically just kind of plug and play. You know, they're not looking to mess around. They know he's good. They've seen what he's done. Nobody's questioning his ability to play football. They're just questioning his, ability to stay out of trouble. And I think that's completely fair. That's completely reasonable that people should question that because he's shown to have some questionable character. And any team that picks him up, obviously, is right away going to be like, all right, you ready to play? We're ready to play you. So he's going to be a step in and start playing kind of player. So I don't know. I don't know that a team like the Lions, even though I can see why some of their fans will want it. There's no reason why they wouldn't want it. I mean, he's a good player. But I just don't necessarily know if I buy that it's actually a smart idea.
Who's another team you could see him signing with?
I can see the Redskins doing it.
That was the second one I was going to bring up, too. Because I just don't think the Redskins are a team that, I don't want to phrase it like this, but I will. I don't think they care. They've been a team that's like, yeah, you know what? You hate us for our name? Who gives a crap? Like, it's going to be, oh, you're not going to do it again? All right, Kareem. Here, we'll pay you money to be a running back on the Washington Redskins. Like, even, like look at Adrian Peterson. I know it's been a little bit further removed from when he had his drama of why he was cut from the Vikings, but they give AP a job, and look at AP did a pretty good job as the Redskin running back this year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're a team that's shown they'll give people a chance, so I think they'll give them a chance. It's just kind of it was kind of the joke before that people kept saying, like, oh, the Washington Redskins are going to get a great player. And you know what? They might, if they're the ones that are willing to take the shot. But the thing that comes down to it with me is I don't think that the NFL, like the average NFL fan, I don't think they're going to be that opposed to Kareem Hunt. I don't. For better or worse, I don't think they're really going to care that much about a team picking up Kareem Hunt. And some people might think there's something wrong with that they should care a little bit more about domestic violence. But you know what? At the same time, I think we're kind of in a different part. Remember back when we saw the video of Ray Rice?
Yes.
And comparing that to seeing the pictures from Adrian Peterson and what he did to his son. The reaction was a lot different this time with Kareem Hunt in this video. A lot of people were right away saying, oh, I don't know. I mean, she came back at him. Like, why was this girl fighting him? People were trying to kind of blame her a lot and find a way to forgive Kareem Hunt right off the bat.
And
I think we're in a different part than we were back when we first saw these shocking videos. I don't think people care as much now.
Well, and two of the things that I have seen online is the first one was basically, and I'll be honest, I was in this camp initially too of, all right, what he did was wrong, but what did she say to him when she came back? Like, what did she say to him when he came back? Because, like, my biggest thing, and I'll say it now, because I will never, ever be in this situation, is, and this is the point that I brought up to like Dave and Sean is, what if she had came back and said like the N-word to him? That's like, okay, maybe you sit there and go, well, you shouldn't be pissed off at that, but I'm never going to be in that situation. So I don't even know how I would react in a situation like that because I can't. And there's that part, but then there's also like when he came back and kind of kicked her, there were some people that were like, oh, that was barely a kick. He just booped her. He didn't even do anything. It wasn't really a kick. Come on. With Ray Rice's was a lot worse. And I mean, is it also that since it wasn't as bad as Ray Rice's, did people then say, oh, well, we're not going to get as upset about it because we've seen worse with Ray Rice?
Well, I think that, you do get a little desensitized to some of this stuff, for better or worse. I do think, personally, I think it's just as bad.
Because, you got Joe Mixins, too.
Yeah, I don't think that you can really distinguish too much between, hitting this woman wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as hitting that woman. I don't know. I think those are kind of silly distinctions to make. And people kind of make them when they're convenient. But I do think that we, as a society, are a little desensitized to stuff like this at the moment. And people can read into that as they like. They can think what they want about it, whatever. But we kind of are at this point where we've seen enough of these where maybe people are willing to forgive it, or rhetoric is a certain way, so maybe people don't care as much anymore. It's just, I think the outrage is gone. I don't think there's going to be much of any outrage about whatever team decides to do whatever with Kareem Hunt.
Well, and that's why, and the last thing I'll kind of ask with this is, I saw this question today, and I feel like asking the same one is kind of dumb because a lot of people would go, well, duh, I want this guy over Kareem Hunt. But do you think that there will be teams that say, I don't want to deal with what Kareem Hunt did. I prefer Le'Veon Bell over Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, and Le'Veon's situation is a completely different thing where you're dealing with a different kind of drama, a different kind of issue.
Well, and also the thing to throw in there is not just that, but Le'Veon's 26, going to be entering his prime, whereas Kareem Hunt is only 23.
Yeah, you got a lot of longevity out of Kareem Hunt. The thing that concerns me about Kareem Hunt, if you're a team looking for the future, is this is a guy that can't seem to get it straight. He cannot seem to keep his head out of trouble. For teams, do you really think you can trust him? That's what it comes down to me. It's nice that he's 23 years old, but do you really think your investment, you're going to get everything out of it? Or are you going to be missing out, on a Le'Veon Bell or a good running back prospect in the draft or something like that, or trading for Jordan Howard? Do you really think that you're going to get your money's worth on this investment? I'm not convinced that you will. If I'm proven wrong, great. But I'm leaning towards, I think that teams are going to be a little bit upset with making that choice. So you think that there will be teams that might go after Le'Veon before they go after Kareem? Or go after Le'Veon and not go after Kareem? Well, no, I think teams are going to go after Kareem Hunt. He's younger, he's cheaper. But I think that Kareem Hunt's going to have more issues in the future. I mean, he's kind of shown that he's not somebody that you can really kind of count on to keep his head straight. I think that's going to be the big problem for teams.
And the thing that I also wonder, and this is the last thing I'll say with the whole Kareem Hunt thing, is I wonder if with Kareem Hunt, because of all the off-the-field issues that we've talked about, is he going to, when multiple teams are interested, are those teams that need a first-string running back? Or are those teams, like I will throw out the Patriots again, where there are teams that are like, you know what, we can take this risk, and if he pans out, great, that's amazing for us, but if he doesn't pan out, maybe we can get him on a type of deal where even if we get rid of him, it doesn't hurt us at all. Or if we bench him, it doesn't hurt us at all because we're a team that is in good standing, and just because we don't, like, we're good without him now, why would we be good without him? Or, yeah, we're good without him, so why would we stink with benching him? I wonder that too, is he going to get a job where he's a second string running back behind somebody and not be the main guy on a team? What do you think about that?
That would surprise me. I mean, he's already proven how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's very young. And it's mostly, unless there's only one option and that's it for him,
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if that's what ends up happening. I don't think he's going to be willing to take that kind of deal, with the one exception being if he does like a 1 year prove it kind of deal. That's the only reason I can see maybe that would happen.
Well, and we'll see what happens with Kareem Hunt. Apparently multiple teams interested, and like Adam Schefter said, he'll be signed sooner rather than later. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below, if you're a fan of a team that needs a running back, would you want them to sign Kareem Hunt, even with the off-the-field issues? And also, where do you guys think Kareem Hunt is going to sign? Let us know what you think down below in that comment section.